Arsenal vs Chelsea, a tactical analysis. Before the video starts, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more videos like this and like and share the video if you enjoy it. I've also put a quiz question in the comment section below, so go down there and see if you can get the answer right. Arsenal lined up in a 5-3-2 system with Ozil playing ahead of Torreira and Xhaka in a double pivot, Maitland-Niles and Kolasinac as a wing-backs and Lacazette and Aubameyang playing as a central front two. Sarri used his regular 4-3-3 system with Christensen at the centre-back with Luiz and Emerson and Azpilicueta as the full-backs, and midfield three of Jorginho, Kante and Kovacic, and Hazard and Pedro either side of Giroud. Emery used a 5-3-2 in order to man-to-man press Chelsea in central zones from their build-up. Aubameyang and Lacazette would press the centre-backs when they received the ball, whilst Ozil stuck tightly to Jorginho, preventing him from getting on the ball in Chelsea's half. Kante and Kovacic were similarly tightly marked by Torreira and Xhaka behind Ozil. Emery opted for this type of pressing style because of the success he had had earlier on in the season with a 4-4-2 diamond system, which allowed Ramsey to man-mark Jorginho whilst pressing aggressively and high with Lacazette and Aubameyang in a front three. Emery used a 5-3-2 to be more conservative in the press, and because he was wary of Pedro and Hazard staying wide and potentially creating 1v1 situations with the fullbacks once the Arsenal press was bypassed. Kovacic would drop deep and wide into the space created by Arsenal's lack of advanced wide players. He was able to get on the ball in this position as Torreira was reluctant to follow him in such a deep position and vacate his central midfield position. Despite this, Chelsea were unable to play through the Arsenal midfield as Chelsea's fullbacks were not advanced enough to be able to get on the ball in the wide space either side of the Arsenal central midfielders, and therefore were often forced to play long balls to Giroud in the first 13 minutes. Giroud was completely isolated as the fullbacks were not advanced enough, which forced Hazard and Pedro to hold wide positions, and this meant that any time Chelsea played a long direct ball into Giroud, he was unable to knock it down to any Chelsea player in an advanced midfield position. When Arsenal had the ball from their build-up, or if they won the ball back in their own half, they would look to play quick balls into Lacazette for him to hold up and lay off. This was because with no advanced wide players, a direct ball into the flanks wouldn't have worked, so with Lacazette receiving the ball and then bringing central midfielders into play, the wing-backs were able to advance before Arsenal looked to play a ball out to the flanks. Chelsea defended in a 4-5-1 throughout the match, with Kovacic and Kante engaging in a press on the wide centre-backs when they sought to move forward with the ball. With Arsenal's lack of advance width, this meant that Chelsea's back four could remain narrow and make it hard for Lacazette and Aubameyang to make runs through the space between Chelsea's centre-backs and full-backs. Chelsea's back four remained very narrow when Arsenal had the ball in their half due to a fear of leaving gaps for Aubameyang and Lacazette to run into. Arsenal looked to switch play quickly via long passes from Xhaka in a deep central position to Kolasinac on Maitland-Niles, who would sit high and wide. Kolasinac did get into a good position from this around the 20th minute mark, but Arsenal were unable to really pinpoint this tactical weakness. During the latter stages of the first half, Hazard and Pedro began to move more central as the Arsenal press became less intense, and Kovacic and Kante were able to get on the ball. Chelsea were able to create a 4v3 in the centre of midfield, which allowed them to play through the Arsenal midfield, with Hazard, Pedro and Giroud combining with some great interplay to create chances when the ball was in the final third. In the second half, Maitland-Niles began pressing Emerson as soon as he received the ball in the build-up. This was probably as Emery realised that Chelsea fullbacks remained pretty deep during the build-up phase and wanted to make sure that Arsenal could stop Chelsea being able to play through the man-to-man press. Despite this, Chelsea completely dominated the second half, with Kovacic and Hazard's dribbles being key to advancing the Chelsea attack past the Arsenal midfield. Hazard was the man of the match, with his dribbling ability being central to almost every Chelsea attack. Giroud's movement to pull off the centre-backs into a wider position for Hazard to play through balls into was brilliant and something that Higuain and Morata didn't bring to the Chelsea attack this season. Ozil looked completely drained of all energy, being unable to sustain a press on Jorginho, which forced Xhaka to move out of his central midfield position to maintain the man-to-man press, which thus led to a domino effect as Monreal was then pulled out of his position while trying to close down the space behind Xhaka, and this in turn left a space in behind him for Pedro to make runs into. Jorginho was also phenomenal in the midfield, not just on the ball with his ability to play incisive passes into Kovacic and Hazard in behind the Arsenal midfield, but also in his breaking up of play through his tackling whenever Ozil and Xhaka sought to make a run through the midfield. By the 70-minute mark, the game was done. Chelsea finished the game winning 4-1. In probably his last game for Chelsea, Eden Hazard was amazing and clearly the best player on the pitch, but this embarrassing performance shows just how far Arsenal are behind the likes of Chelsea in terms of individual player quality, and that a rebuild may be needed with players like Ozil clearly not suited to Emery's system. This performance shows SARRI-BALL at its best and may be enough to keep Sarri at Chelsea next season. Thank you for watching. Remember to like and share the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and answer the quiz question in the comment section below, and check out some of our other videos as well.